Welcome to News Video Clip. As you may remember, the Charlie Kirk murder trial started about 2 weeks ago. And at the time, his grieving widow, Erika Kirk, she pled for privacy. She begged for privacy during this very, very difficult time. Well, now she doesn't care so much about privacy. Even though the trial's still going on, she's out making speeches at Turning Point USA conferences to make money. Here are the gals that I've had it, and they've got the story.
While his trial is going on, Erika Kirk has been making stops at Turning Point conferences and doing speaking engagements. This is her, an alleged grieving widow, while her husband's the alleged murder trial of his killer is going on. Play the clip.
So you have the internet coming after you. You have them slandering your name. You have them saying all this trash about you. And what do? You wake up that next morning, you put on the armor of God and you keep going.
She's so brave.
Here's the thing. The defense in this preliminary hearing spoke directly to the fact that Erika Kirk, who has been saying, I need privacy, I want to be with my family, has been on a media tour. And she have some tour like Heaven is Not Full tour or something? I mean, she's on a full-blown media bender during all this. And it was brought up by counsel in the preliminary hearing. That's how ubiquitous this shit is.
All right. So there you go, Erika Kirk. She's on tour, and now the lawyers for Tyler Robinson, the guy who's accused of killing her husband, they're bringing this up. So it's definitely not going to be helping for Erika to be out making money like this. But I guess grifters got to grift, right, Erika? Okay, now we're going to go to the U.S. Senate. And today they had a hearing for Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who wants to be the permanent Attorney General. And so one of the senators, John Kennedy, asked Todd Blanche what his relationship is to Donald Trump.
Are you and President Trump friends?
I'm his lawyer, was his lawyer, and now I'm the deputy attorney general.
So there he goes, Todd Blanche actually letting it slip out that he is Donald Trump's lawyer. The acting attorney general should never be the lawyer for the president of the United States. The acting attorney general should be the lawyer for the entire U.S. government, for the American people, not the president. So Todd Blanche, hopefully, has submarined his own chances of being attorney general. We can only hope and pray. Alrighty, now we're going to go over to President Trump, who is giving this crazy speech today about the CHIPS Act. Now, Joe Biden signed the CHIPS Act, which Republicans supported, back in 2022. And the CHIPS Act gave money to tech companies that make AI chips so that they could catch up with China. So here's Trump lying. He's going to say that only transgender people can get this money.
The chips. We had this ridiculous CHIPS Act where you give billions of dollars to a company and they didn't even know what the hell to do with it. You give them billions of dollars. They say they're going to build. Nobody knew what to do with it. And of course, the standards were so high. If you weren't transgender, as an example, you didn't qualify. So they get the money that hired to look all over for transgender people to run the company, large portions. They couldn't find them. They weren't into the chip making business, I guess, right?
Okay. So none of that is true. You don't have to be transgender to get CHIPS money. And no, these big AI high-tech companies did not rush out and look to find some transgender person to run their company. All of that is a complete lie. But Trump knows how this really gets his stupid and ignorant base all stirred up because they're morons. That's what MAGA is. Okay, speaking of morons, we're going to go over to an interesting story. We have some pro-Trump COVID denying doctors who are falsely claiming that ivermectin, which is an anti-parasitic, somehow helps cure cancer. And these doctors wrote this study to try to back up their claims. The doctors included Dr. Drew Pinsky and Dr. Kelly Victory. Those are the ones you're looking at right now in that picture. Also, Dr. Peter McCullough, who's a massive quack, and other doctors. Now, Pinsky, McCullough, and Victory, none of them are specialists in infectious disease. None of them are oncologists. None of them are cancer specialists. So that should be a big red flag right off the top. Also, their so-called study of ivermectin was not peer-reviewed. In other words, outside doctors and outside scientists they were not allowed to review this study before it was published. So it is not peer reviewed. Also, the patients in this study, they all self-reported. There are no medical records to actually check. There's no way to verify their medical information. It's self-reported. It's whatever they happen to say. So it's just absolutely bizarre. And it gets a little stranger. All of the doctors who were part of this study, they run a thing called the Wellness Company. Well, what a surprise, because the patients who took part in this study are part of this private clinic called the Wellness Company, which sells a variety of supplements and non-standard treatments. So all of the authors stand to financially benefit from these types of studies, because what is probably going to happen is the wellness company that these doctors own is probably going to start selling ivermectin, and they're going to point to their own failed study to claim that's the evidence that ivermectin cures cancer, even though there is absolutely no proof that ivermectin cures cancer. Alrighty, those are all the stories we have today. You can find links to all of our stories right below this video. We back up every single thing we say, unlike the right-wing podcasters, Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Riley Gaines, Jimmy Dore, all those paid right-wing influencers who are on the take. They never back up any of their claims. We back up everything. All right, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to this channel. If this is your first time watching, please like and subscribe. If you hate this podcast, please subscribe. If you hate me, please subscribe. All righty, those are all the stories we have today. We'll be back later with more.